What's going on, Fast Turn Radio watchers, listeners, replay catchers, golfers? What's up? Hopefully everybody is doing well tonight, and had a cool few minutes before we actually started the recording to just chat with people. Got a lot of awesome members in the or attendees, members, friends, whatever you want to call them in the chat room. So thank you to everybody who showed up early and those that are still pouring in. We got Chris and Darcy. Oh, Lisa Murphy's here. What's up, Lisa? Annette White. Sean Mayo's in the crowd. Mindy. I'm still, someday you're going to have to like write out how I can actually say your last name, but Mindy is here showing his 3-screen setup, which is awesome. And Jenny Lederer, who came on camera for just a second, so that was kind of funny. What, Leron? Leron's here. What up, Leron? The $500,000 man. Oh, Chris Manise is here. What up, C? All right. So hopefully everybody is doing well. Hopefully you're making lots of money and life is good. I know we are. Can't wait. This show may be very short tonight. I don't have much of an agenda, but I am excited about the numbers, and I did some breakdowns, so I'm going to share that with you. And if you have any questions in general, please feel free to throw them out there. Didn't see much in the news. There was one thing, and I forget what it was now. There was one thing I saw in the FBA news feed that came out that I thought I was going to touch on, but I guess not, because it's totally slipped my mind. So, all right. Anyway, so hopefully everybody's doing well, and we'll get right to it. In the last, I don't know, 6 weeks or so, I've started to work with more people. And it has really shown, an effect in my numbers. So I'm going to go over some of that tonight, and we can talk about numbers. I've broken down into some pretty interesting things because I was asked last week, and I've been asked this before, and I just always said, I don't know, is, what percentage do you do wholesale and RA and OA, and what's the mix look like and all that kind of stuff. So going to go through the actual sales numbers through the 12th of this month, so the first 12 days, and just kind of take a look at where things are. And I think that's really a pretty accurate sample size for how our business looks in general. So it's not a huge sample, but it's a little over 500 orders, and I think it gives us a decent feel for how everything's going. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions, load up whatever questions you have. Otherwise, I'm just going to go straight with the numbers. We can talk about those a little bit, and I think we're probably going to keep it pretty short tonight, but we'll see where things all come or where they go. So let's get started. First of all, okay, do you want to do the regular like month to date kind of stuff, or do you want to see this spreadsheet that I worked an hour and a half on to be able to tell you the percentages of what's going on? Spreadsheet. See, with no data though. All right, we'll start with spreadsheet. Yeah, so this is for the first 12 days. Okay, yeah, Dale says month to date. Okay, I am gonna have to start with the month to date just to give some kind of bearing to this, and then we can kind of switch back and forth between the two. How about that? So let's start with our month to date. So let's get that screen up there. All right. Okay, so turn on the screen share here. For those of you listening on audio only, you don't get to see all the pretty colors and all that kind of stuff, but I'll read it all out to you as we go on. All right. Yes, Dale, makes sense. Show the spreadsheet, or show the month to date and then the spreadsheet. That way you know where the numbers are coming from. All right, share the screen. So here we go. Hopefully you guys see my screen. This is our numbers as of this evening. Sorry guys, just doing, my brain is having a disconnect right this second. First off, little pat on the back to ourselves. We had our first disbursement of over, like, I think we went from 6,000 last time to over 8,000. The time before was 6,000, which was cool. We were over 8,000 at 8,500 in a disbursement. That was last Friday. So that was that's showing an uptick, a trending up, if you will, in our numbers. That's a direct result of more sales. More sales equals more money, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll be looking at 10,000 is my tentative goal, what I hope to achieve by the next disbursement, but who knows. So we're at Wednesday and we're at 3,000 for our next disbursement. So, Friday will be the halfway point. Don't know that we'll really make the 10,000, but hey, should have a good disbursement coming out regardless. 7-day is just under $7,000. 15-day is at $15,000. And 30-day is just over 27,000 at 27,438. So everything is improving. If you compare that to where we were a week ago, where numbers were a little under 25,000, they were like 24 something. You see that increase is coming. You see the disbursements going up, the sales going up, just everything is on the rise. That really shows here on the 15-day being at $15,000. So we've averaged at $1,000 a day for the last 2 weeks. Very proud of that. And with that, we will get into some of our detailed numbers here. All right. So you see today, we are already over 1,000. So we're having a good day today. Yesterday, we were a little over 1,200. ASP for the orders at $29. But you see right here, we definitely had some multi-order items come in because we've only had 38 orders, but we've sold 50 items. So a lot of multiple item orders coming in. Gee whiz, having a tough one. But most popular category is grocery. That's where we've had our most units sold, most money. Home appliances, doing very well with those. Got some toys in there, some bis. Got some bis coming in, which is nice. And then our kitchen, which has been steady for us. So that's how today looks. Let's get to the month to date. I'm really usually I just go ahead and click on the month to date. But I want to show you guys something. This I found pretty stinking funny. I pulled it up earlier today to see where things stood. From May 1st to May 13th this year, we are at $12,629 in sales. Same period last year, $2,756. I think we've improved those numbers just a little bit. So yeah, that's this month to date over last year, almost 600 units sold versus 120 same period last year. So yes, we have definitely increased our sales this year over last. I just wanted to share that with you. I found that pretty amusing. So we're at 12.5, 12.6, whatever, for the month so far. So what does that look like in spreadsheet form? Okay, because if you look, first of all, here's the product or the categories that we've sold in. I'll read through them real fast. Toys, baby, kitchen, lawn and garden, health and personal care, clothing, beauty, pet supplies, sports and outdoors, home appliances, office products and supplies, shoes, grocery, industrial and scientific, outdoors. Okay, that's all the categories that we've sold in the last 13 days. So a wide mix of product. That's one thing I want you to realize. Now, to get to Mindy's question of, well, how much of it is RA, how much of it is OA, how much is wholesale, all that kind of stuff. Dan Metters, what's happening, man? That's where this comes in. This is a spreadsheet that I did today, and I am no Excel expert, so it took me forever to get this stuff for you. But hopefully it helps you understand what our business looks like in a nutshell. Again, through those first 12 days of this month, excuse me, through the first 12 days, we sold a little over $12,000. How does that break down? All right, wholesale as a percentage of units sold, wholesale is 55%, RA is 18%, OA is 15%, Amazon flips, which I kind of broke out into their own category because that's a lot of our shoes and clothing. So technically, I guess you would call it OA, but I'm going to go with more of a Amazon flips being their own category. So that makes up about 5% of our units sold. and special liquidation. And this is some group buys that I've been involved with that were kind of one-time deals. They were a special situation, but it was, I give credit to the young guns of FBA, Todd, Matt, and Harvey for allowing me to buy in on some stuff with them. So you see, out of that 12,000, that's been 1,500 of our sales so far. And so I am truly thankful for their help with that. Wholesale, a big part of that, and I did not break this out separately, but a big part of that came with the help of Dan Metters and Eric Lambert. So I thank them. The networking, I've talked about this before, but now you see it in numbers form. The networking matters. It's going to add to your bottom line. So, all right. Dale says, not sure if we should be seeing your breakdown, but we see a different spreadsheet. Okay. You should see the spreadsheet with a little green, right? Do you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. So these are the actual sales numbers, which don't really do you a whole lot of good. I just left them up in case anybody had any specific questions where I can just kind of highlight and have Excel do the work for me. But up here on the right, this is the actual breakdown. So the green is wholesale, and you'll see, I'll go ahead and scroll down through. Then we have, so there's all of our wholesale orders. Then our RA orders. And then Amazon flips, you see they make up a small portion. Online arbitrage is in yellow. And then our special liquidation buys. And I got to tell you, the one thing that jumped out at me about this, there are some serious profits to be made, just revenue to be made in some of that liquidation stuff. So that worked out really well. I was very happy with that. So if you guys want me to get into anything specific about this, I can. Obviously, I've taken out the products themselves, but you can see the prices. These are all the product sales in the D column. And after all these fees and taxes added in and whatever, these are the totals on the backside. I did not take the time to put in the cost of goods to come up with the profits. But anyway, so that is the breakdown. That's what took me an hour and a half to figure out today, that was the actual sales that have cleared. So there are a lot of pending sales. I'll tell you, like yesterday and the day before, we blew it out with wholesale. If it probably would have raised that a few percent points if the pending sales had actually shipped, because we're coming up on the bulk food stuff. So I'm kind of blowing out my bulk food. I'm still making a nice profit on it, but I had to undercut to make sure I got rid of it. And just changing the price by like 50 cents got me low enough that I was owning the buy box and just absolutely blew through some product. I mean, this is like bulk food that's ranked under 5,000 in grocery. And when you're the only one in the buy box, let me tell you, you will sell dozens of units very, very quickly. All right. How do you code to categorize your sales? Well, I did it by hand. That's why it took so long. So yeah, it was not fun. I went through each one of my orders. I knew which product it was that, how I purchased that product. And so I just went through and color coded it all by hand. It was ugly. Yeah, no more bulk food. You can do bulk food. You just have to do it a different way. It's, they're making it more difficult to sell bulk food. The reason being, they want to know exactly how, how it's being packaged, how it's going to be presented to the customer and all that. So they're making you jump through some hoops to sell bulk food, where in the past you could just kind of send it in and it wasn't a big deal. So yeah, it's going to be more of a challenge, but you know, it's worth it. It's worth going through the headaches if you got a good product. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Oh, and for those listening, I should go through. So one more time, wholesale, the units, 55%, RA, 18%, Amazon flips 5%, OA 15%, liquidation 6%. Now, how does that look for revenues? Well, wholesale out of that 12,000 so far this month is 5,000. $5,000, which is 42%. RA is $2,300. That's 19%. Amazon flips, $1,100, 9%. Online arbitrage, $2,000 for 17%. And liquidation, $1,500 for 13%. So that's the actual percentage of the revenues coming in. So a little different than the units sold. You know, our grocery items tend to sell a little bit lower, and that's a lot of our wholesale. A little lower price point than maybe some of the online or the Amazon flips. The actual revenues from those are probably quite a bit higher than any other category in comparison to the number of units, because that's where the shoes come in. So we can pop back over to that screen. Let's see, I'm going to take my screen share off for just a second. Make sure I don't pop up something I don't mean to. Get everything kind of reset. Oh, good. How cool is this? I can't really check in on it because I got you guys on. Well, I'm going to put you back on screen share. But in case you didn't notice, just a second ago when we were going through this. All right, here we go. Just a second ago, as we were going through the numbers, we were at 27,438. I don't know what we sold. I can't check with you guys looking at my stuff. I'm a little more protective than that, but yeah, we're at 27,552. So just that quick, we sold like 120 bucks worth of something. So I'll take that. Yeah, Mindy says, any net profit numbers to show just to make you spend an extra hour and a half next week? No, I'm not doing the profit crap. Then I'd have to get them in my cost of goods and all that, not dealing with it. Trust me, it runs about 20%. So, you know, on the 27,000, we should make about 5 to 5,500, somewhere in there, 5,000 to 5,500. All right, so let's get back into the business reports. So we saw the month to date's about 12,000, which is just blowing last year, same month, totally out of the water. Let's also get into the year to date, see how we're doing with that. All right, so we're just shy of, I didn't realize this, we are just shy of $100,000 for the year to date, so I'm excited about that. Not even halfway through the year yet, which we all know fourth quarter is a whole different monster. So here we are in the middle of May, and we're at 93,261. Compared to last year, we were at 48,000. So we're almost back to that 2X, which is where we need to be. And yeah, you know, last year, the months of May and June were just horrible, and July was not great. So we're going to make up a lot of headway on that, doing 2X as we roll through the summer. Again, just a ton of categories that we've sold in. Oh, the shoes. That's one thing I want to get into. We can look at it for the year. 5,000 on the year. But what I really wanted to show, because I just love the shoes. I don't know what it is, but man, we're selling right at 2 pairs a day. Almost $1,000 sold this month. And so we should sell a couple $1,000 worth of shoes. And if you compare that, let's just do the actual month to date. So I want to see how that applies compared to last month. Last month, we did 36 units at $1,300. So we're looking at probably doing somewhere close to 60 units at maybe a couple $1,000. Chris Manise says he loves shoes. I know you do. And he has graciously given me some leads on his shoes, definitely. Found some shoes doing RA. Do most of it on Amazon. If you join Threads and Treads, you'll learn exactly how I do a lot of what I do. Yeah, there is money in shoes. You know, because I don't think that we have paid, I do not think we've paid over $20 for any pair of shoes, and most of them are in the $15 range. So when you see an average sale price of $37, you know, most of those shoes are going to be about 15 bucks a piece. So yeah, Mindy, 27 pairs, ASP 56. And see, he's selling those high dollar shoes. Good job, man. And Chris Manise says, never mind, there is no money in shoes. So everybody forget about shoes. They are not a good thing to sell. You should not sell shoes. There, Chris Manise said so. No, just kidding. Shoes are awesome. Great ASP. They do really well. And yes, you get a little bit of a higher return on them, but man, they go back into the inventory and they turn around and get sold again. There you go. Leron, 7 pairs sold today. Now I'll tell you one thing. I don't think we sold any today. I found this too. Nope. See, haven't sold a single one. Yesterday, just 1 unit for $34.50. It comes in waves. So it's kind of weird. Like we had one day where we sold 7. Today we've sold none. Yesterday was 1. The day before that, I think it was 2 or 3. It's all over the map. It just kind of depends when you're in the buy box. I have noticed that the sales for me seem to come in later in the day for some reason. Yeah, Leron says 37.35 each. Yeah, 37.52 is our ASP. So yeah, that's our average for what we're selling. So yep. Or Leron, is it? Oh, okay. You were saying that's your average selling price. Oh, okay. So you're right in the same ballpark with us. Cool. Yeah, $37 shoes, man. That's awesome. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. I'm catching up though. So yeah, things are on target. The road to 500K seems to be actually within reach, thanks to, again, people like Dan, people like the Young Guns, Eric, Gompers. Brandon has played a big part in that also. So it's been the networking, and then of course my core mastermind of Mike and Aryeh and Chris is just always fantastic. It's always been there. We're doing some more buys through that group, and man, do not be afraid of competition. Embrace what you can give to others, what they can give to you, and share the information. And get it. And here's another thing. Okay, so let's see if I can bring the spreadsheet up again. Yeah. All right. There is nothing that I'm not trying to do other than private label. Private label, I have not dipped my toe in the water. I have done international in the past. It was not a fit for me. I know that other people are doing great, but don't be afraid to try all these different models. You see all the different ways that I'm sourcing. You see all the different ways or all the different categories we're selling in. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to keep up with, but you also start to see the results on the other side as those numbers are coming up and up and up. Because this RA right here was almost non-existent. I guarantee it wasn't last year, and it's been limited this year until probably the last month or so. I've put more effort into it than I had prior to that. I've done more this year than I was doing last year, but this last month I have really kicked it up with the RA. So, that takes time, and you got to get your butt off the couch and you got to get out in the stores. But, you're putting it all together. And when you're in the stores, you can share the deals with people. People are giving you the deals. And it's a great way to build your inventory and to build your profits and your sales without doing all the work yourself. Karen Holmes, good question. How did your commingling inventory go? Strange. For the most part, it went extremely well. All right. Are we all done with the numbers? And I'll get into the commingling stuff. I'll just take the screen down. Anybody have any questions about the stuff we got up there? Nope. I don't see any coming in. So Kim says, yes, I am here to hear about the commingling. All right. Let me take the screen share off. You can see my big ugly mug again. Okay. Commingling. Now, I've done it. I've done a couple of shipments, commingled. I did the one that was straight from the manufacturer or the wholesaler to Amazon. So how did that go? That one was strange, and I'll tell you why. Everything went great as far as the wholesaler doing their part and the products getting to Amazon. And the strange part is I sent 180 units, and these were 12 to a case. So they were all, basically master cases of individual products inside. And there were 12 individual products in every one of these boxes. So somehow Amazon managed to receive 174 of 180. So they lost half a case. How they did that, I have no idea. And I waited and waited and waited. And eventually I reconciled and they reimbursed me for the 6 missing units. So that was that was kind of the weird thing, but that's going to happen whether it's commingled or labeled. It's just one of those, how do you lose half a case of something? I mean, you know, I can understand if you lost a case or a box didn't get there or whatever, but dang on, man, you lost half a case. So yeah, warehouse workers having a party. Yeah, they're having a good time. So yeah, I mean, that has nothing to do with commingled versus labeled. That was just weird to me that you would lose half a case. But other than that, it went great. Product went into inventory very quickly. There were just no issues. That's the best way I can put it. There was nothing, no mishaps. I did some commingled after that, and then I did have some little hiccups. Like anything with an expiration date has to be stickered. You know, your UPC codes have to match exactly to your product because that's all they scan. So I had one product where I was going to commingle it, and I realized when I scanned it, it came up with a different listing than what I originally, I guess I searched for the product the first time. I didn't actually have the UPC, so I just did a search and I found the listing I wanted. But when I scanned the UPC, it came up on a different listing that was like a rank of 500,000. I was like, I do not want that 500,000 rank. I want this one over here that's 22,000 rank. So I went back in, I printed labels. Just so you guys know, you can print labels when you commingle. This came up last week or maybe the week before of how do you, if something, excuse me, I am so sorry. If something does not have a UPC code on it, can you still commingle it? And the answer is yes, you can. So when you print the label, and I left them out in the garage, I was gonna do some show and tell with you. When you print those labels, it comes up with the ASIN number. So instead of an FN SKU like X000 and then your number, like it would with labeled, when it's commingled, it prints a barcode, but it is simply the ASIN. So it's going to be a B00 and it'll match exactly to that ASIN. So if something doesn't have a UPC code, it can still be commingled. So it's kind of interesting. So what I did with the product that I scanned the UPC code and it came up on the different listing that I didn't like, I still commingled it, but I printed out my commingled B00 ASIN numbers. And so I still ended up labeling it, but technically it's commingled. So, which I like. I like the idea of my product always being available. And this is something that I sent very few of as a test. So I want as much available on, you know, both coasts as can be, so I can capture as many sales as possible. So far, all my commingled products have had to have ASIN labels on them. Yeah, that stinks, Becky. I'm sorry. No, oh, okay, yeah, that's no, yeah, no barcodes. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, if you don't have a barcode, but see, it's kind of cool that you can still commingle even though you don't have a barcode. What types, not specifics, are you commingling? How do you answer that? How do you answer what you're selling without answering what you're selling? You tell me how I'm supposed to tell you, and I'll be more than happy to. Okay, category: home and kitchen, toy, health and personal care. I've done a few of them, but it's still this is all dirty and nasty, but it's kind of like this lint roller. Okay, this is typically the kind of stuff that I'm looking at commingling. I really need to clean that. That's just disgusting. Somebody must have had a black sweater or something. I'm not sure why that's even sitting in my office, but anyway, it's like this lint roller. Okay, not many people are really going to claim counterfeit on it. It's a pretty safe product, so that's just kind of that. Yes, I'm commingling dirty lint rollers. Thoughts on liability for commingling? I think you actually have less liability because as much as I don't like it, the fact is you have plausible deniability was the best phrase that I heard. Okay. If Amazon says you the customer received a counterfeit product. Okay, it was commingled. The product I sent to you was legitimate. I don't know what the customer received, but it wasn't mine. Now, I've said this before. Two things. They say they can track commingled inventory and figure out exactly where it came from. If they can, cool. Go back and look. It's not mine. Problem solved. If they can't, you don't know whether or not it's mine. I think it's problem solved. Nothing's a guarantee. John Grollo was not selling counterfeit anything, and his account got shut down in a heartbeat because weird things happen. I don't think you've increased your liability. I think you've decreased your liability by being commingled simply because they can't prove that it's yours, or if they can, then you're safe. Assuming Amazon will remove product reviews, it seems like the biggest risk is in increased returns because other sellers are sending less than perfect items. That could be. That's a possibility. I can't argue with that. That's true. You may have sellers that are selling less than desirable condition products. If I start to see that as a big problem, maybe I'll take action on it. And I was commingled when I first started because I didn't even know that there was such a thing as not being commingled or stickered or whatever. So I did sell for a couple of months commingled, and there was no big issue with it then either. It just, I heard the story about the guy with the DVDs and, oh my God, they're going to shut me down if I'm commingled. No, here's my guess. The guy with the DVDs probably sent unknowingly a counterfeit product. That's my guess, because Amazon said, you're the only one selling this product. It's yours. I don't think I think his story is very one-sided when you read that. All right. All right. You guys are starting to talk too much. Trying to catch up. All right. If more buy box time is given due to having inventory in multiple locations, in theory, commingling should increase that. Yes, I agree. Commingling should increase your sales. Alan said that's why he's thinking about doing it. Dan, as commingled, our return rate was 1% on average across the year. Thank you, Dan. There you go. There's a guy that did a whole lot of sales. So a large sample size and 1% on average. Doesn't sound like things went up at all. And actually, that's lower than most people, I would have to say. And who knows if it's like that or not. Just the idea that you have more product available more of the time would kind of lend itself to the fact that you should have more buy box time than if you are stickered. So I don't know if it's true. It would be kind of tough to prove. You'd have to take a product that you stickered and then take one that same product that you commingled to compare the two. I don't think I'm really going to take the time to do that, but whatever. I think it probably is true. Either way, I don't think I'm going to lose out by having more inventory available more of the time. And yes, that darn DVD story. So commingling has gone great. I talked about it quite a bit last week, so I won't get into it. But why is more available? What I mean by more available, you have more places for the product to be picked from. So it's not that you have more stock, it's that your stock is more spread throughout the country. So you are always closest to the customer. You cannot, anyone that has product in vicinity of that customer that is commingled is now right next to that customer. So I don't have to have literally 20 units in California to be close to California sellers. I just have to be commingled in Tennessee, and they can go grab one out of the stockpile in California and sell it to now my customer over there. Whereas if I'm stickered and all my inventory is sitting in Tennessee and that order or the buy box is being shown in California, I'm not going to be in it. There's no way. Amazon is not going to logistically give me the buy box in Tennessee when they have better options closer to the customer in California. Excuse me. Commingling works great. Just be cautious of the items you send in for the service. This is where common sense comes into play. Will I commingle an iPad? No. Will I commingle a lint roller all day long? Common sense, people. I agree, Dale. That's kind of it. If it's a high probability of counterfeit, then yeah, stick a sticker on it. But You know, and you can very easily switch back and forth within your account. That's another thing that people have asked. You know, can you switch? Yes, absolutely. You can switch back and forth in seconds. The first time you do it, it may take up to 24 hours to take effect. After that, the switch is almost immediately or immediate. And yes, Julie, that is assuming that other sellers are commingling. If they are not commingled, then you will not have that advantage. But again, if you're stickered only, you have no chance of that happening. So would you commingle grocery? Good question, Sherry. You cannot commingle grocery. You cannot commingle grocery or health and personal care, at least most health and personal care. If it has an expiration date, it cannot be it cannot be commingled. And yeah, Lord, I am so sorry, guys. Keep in mind, though, this from Dale, keep in mind when you switch, you need to create a new item in your inventory. Yes, I now have some products that I sold before as stickered. And now if I want to send in that same product, whether it's in stock or out of stock, does not matter. If you want to make it commingled, you need to create a new MSKU for that product and vice versa. So however you sent the product before, if you want to change how it's sent now, you will have to create a new MSKU for that same product. Good point. Thank you. Alex Mutt, what's happening? Isn't commingled in your settings when you enable it? It doesn't become automatic for everything, just becomes an option. No, yes, it is a setting in your, it's a setting for your account. So when you switch to commingled, everything is going to be commingled. Now, if it cannot be commingled because Amazon flags it as such as grocery. So if I am going to send in candy canes, Amazon knows that can't be commingled, and it's going to put it in stickered inventory. Is it obvious when you look at your inventory which one is which? No, not that I can tell. If anyone else has experience with that, please let me know. But no, as far as I can tell, the MSKUs are identical. I tend to put a little CM at the end if I remember to, of the ones that are commingled, just so I know. Excuse me. Does having commingled and non-commingled cause extra shipments? It definitely can. Is it easy to do using ScanPower List? Yes, it is. That's what I use, and it was very simple. You run your stuff through the same way that you would. The one thing that I would suggest if you're using List is turn off the auto print labels, because if you don't actually need the labels, there's no reason to print them. So I turn off the auto print. Other than that, it knows which inventory has to be stickered. It knows which inventory can be commingled. Yes, that can create multiple shipments, but yeah, it's no different than using just a regular ScanPower List if you were doing all labels or all labeled. Yeah, and Dale said MSKUs can't be identical. You will need to do what Duane says, put a CM or something that you know it by. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't like flag, oh, this is commingled, this is stickered. Nope, just looks like a regular item in your inventory with a regular MSKU, and you have to know which one's which. Becky, if you have your FN SKU on your manage inventory page, you can see which is which. There you go. Excellent point. Give that girl a cookie. Yeah, that little button that says show ASIN / FN SKU, that's an excellent point, Becky. If you click on that, it'll show the ASIN and the FN SKU. And if those two match, that's your commingled. So if the ASIN is B00 and your FN SKU is B00, then you know that you're commingled. If it's a B00 as your ASIN and an X00 for your FN SKU, then that would be stickered inventory. Excellent job, Becky. There you go. That was good. All right, Dale, I'm going to let people just in the chat room read that one because that's about pellets and LTL, and I do not even want to get into questions about that because I know nothing about it. So yeah, I got to tell you, in my first week or so of doing the commingled, I'm liking it. I had some products. I've done 2 shipments where one was 16 products and one was 25, where all I did was went, yep, that's my product. I scanned it, put that one in the box because they actually came pretty much in the perfect size box. The 25 did. So I scanned it, put it back in the box. It was done. Simple as could be. The one that had 16 products, or 18, sorry, 18, they all went to the same place. I have to do 18 or more for them to go to the same place. So 18 products, scanned one, they all fit like, I don't know, medium-sized box or something, just perfectly done. I mean, it took seconds because there was nothing to do. And labeling's not a big deal, but it's just one extra thing to do. And I liked it. I like being able to just go, yep, these are going out the door, as is, done. My theory, and I have not been able to prove this yet, but my theory is if I am commingled, as soon as my inventory is received, I should not have to wait for transshipping. And I'm trying to watch this. I have a product that I think somebody else already has commingled. So if I want to see when it gets received, if it immediately goes live, even though it went to a transshipping center, like a distribution center instead of a fulfillment center, which would, cut 1 or 2 days off of your transshipping time. Your product's going to go live immediately because as soon as they say, yes, we have them in stock, I should be eligible to sell those anywhere. That's my belief. I'm going to try to see if that's the way it works out. And what did Dan said, I shipped your shipment in 5 minutes today. That is awesome. Yeah, Dan said, got your products. This is how many we're sending in. And this is the size of the box. I sent him the email with the shipping labels. He received them all. Apparently just slapped them on the box and they were out the door. And that was what, 320 units, 5 minutes, 320 units out the door. Think about it. On wholesale, does your warehouse change based on the address you are sending from? I'm assuming yes, but I have not had an experience to confirm. Yes, it does. Yes, because you're going to change where you're shipping from. So it's going to change the fulfillment center that you send to. Mike says, funny, I will be taking 5 minutes to send an order for Duane too. Yeah, guys, this is the networking. See, I didn't tell you that part. Dan sent in 320 units today. Michael has sent, I don't know, 100 or so units, I think, couple hundred units in the past, and he's about to do 100 more. Matt sent some. See, there's Matt. Yeah. Funny, I took 5 hours a day to ship for Duane the other day. Yeah, Matt did some killer work for me, and I appreciate it. And I did pay him, just not enough. But yeah, that's another thing with some of this networking that it was an unintended consequence or benefit is suddenly I got people shipping stuff for me because we're doing these group buys. So they're going to one location, and rather than, splitting it all up, it's just they kind of label it and send it in, and it's worked out pretty well. So, yeah, the key. So yeah, the key is to have somebody else do your work. Thanks, Becky. It's pretty funny. Yeah, it's kind of how it's worked out. I mean, really, those guys are great. They all are, and I truly appreciate it, Matt. That Matt worked his butt off, or at least his team did. Yeah, they worked pretty hard. One thing I didn't cover in my numbers, I think we're up to almost 400 units in stock because of stuff like this, where Matt sent 900 units, and Dan sent 320 units, and Mike sending a couple hundred units, and it's just crazy. Mike says, trust me, folks, it's a two-way street. I get as much as I give. I don't know that that's true, but I appreciate the sentiment just the same. Yeah, but it is good to be on buys with other people. So that was funny. I need to laugh. All right, Mindy's going off topic on us. Anyone here a Scan Power Evaluate Guru? I had to run a file for me, and it calculated payout based on the lowest overall price instead of the lowest new price. No, I am not. I use Evaluate, but I don't honestly remember how I had it set up. It's probably in the settings, but if you contact Scan Power, they can tell you for sure. Paul and Andrea are great. Ashley, they're on top of that stuff. So shoot them a message and ask them would be my advice to you. Yeah, Dan says Duane would do the same for us. Yes, sir. You betcha. As soon as I get the opportunity, I will repay everybody who has helped me out immensely, and looking forward to it. Hopefully, I can find some of those deals for you guys. That's right, Chris Manise. Yeah, I did ship for Chris the other day. So yeah, every now and then, I had to get my hands dirty. But no, I mean, it makes sense. There's no reason to pay that extra shipping all over the place. And even if, I mean, for something that's labor intensive, which it truly was for Matt, um, and Todd, I think Todd had a hand in it. See, I don't even know. I know people worked on the stuff. It was awesome, but it was very labor intensive what they did. So I was happy to pay them. It was still better than having the stuff shipped to me so I could turn around and ship it off. And, there's times where it's just cost effective to pay someone else to do your stuff instead of paying the shipping back and forth between the two of you. And yeah, Matt, man, I appreciate it. He worked his butt off on that crap. But the results, Matt, I will tell you, are already starting to come in. We're already selling some of that stuff. So, send it in one day and the next day it goes live. That's incredible. All right. Anybody have any questions? We are at 8:48, so it's a little bit short tonight, but yeah, that's insane fast. That's competitive advantage when you live 2 hours from a warehouse, I guess. Stuff goes in and starts to sell immediately. So, side note, great job with the numbers. You are pulling ahead, and I need to get to work. Alan, all right. I figured you were kicking my butt, man. So hopefully I can inspire you to maybe put down the backpack, get off the mountain, and do a little more work. Because from what I can tell, Alan likes to be in the outdoors quite a bit, and he's got a great job to do that with. So cool. If you can get to work, enjoy life, guys. That's what this is really all about. The numbers are fun. Enjoy life. If you're not enjoying it, don't do it. If you are enjoying it, do more of it. But find that balance. Definitely. Do not kill yourself for this job. Make sure it's taking care of you and your family, but enjoy what you're doing. All right, Dorothy, is it possible to use a Bluetooth scanner for retail arbitrage? If so, do you have any recommendations? Yeah, I use a Bluetooth scanner, a KDC 200. It's a little more expensive than some of the other models out there, but it has an insane battery life. It's small and it just plain works. So the KDC 200 is the scanner that I use. Mindy, what kind of liquidations are you getting? I can't tell you that. Come on now. Can't give away. What's up with you guys asking me? Don't tell me the product, but tell me the product. All over the place. So some baby products, some health and personal care. It's just there's grocery liquidation. There's liquidation in every category. I've seen electronics liquidation, toy liquidation. It's all. He says, I don't mean where, I mean store closings, wholesale. Don't want to get too much into it. I can't get too much into it because it's not really my sources. If it were my sources and it was just me, I would tell you more, but it's not. It's a little more complicated than that. So I can't give you too much. Sorry, that one I got to hold back a little bit. Does the KDC work for the Amazon seller app? CL, from what I understand, you always have to hit the back button with the seller app. It's very rare that I use the seller app. I usually use ScanPower. And when I do use the seller app, it's for like one-time thing to see if I'm eligible to sell it or not. So I've never tried to scan over and over with it. But from what I've been told, you always have to hit the back button. So you can't like scan continuously. Yeah, no problem. And Mindy said, no problem. Yeah, sorry, man. Yeah, just gotta, I hate withholding information, but that one's just not fair for me to share. Michael Flanagan, been looking for a warehouse space for the past couple of weeks and will hopefully have one finalized in 30 days or so. And look out, inventory will be flying in and out every day. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm starting to see the power of some of these deeper buys too when you want to kind of get to that next level. Like I said, mentioned it briefly, our numbers are at almost, I'm going to look at it now. I want to see our units. So just a couple of weeks ago, we were at about 2,000 units. And right now we are at 4,015 standard size So just over 4,000 units in stock and 31 oversized. So yeah, that's, you know, the results in the numbers. So we're buying more, we're sending more, but we're selling more. So it's all that growth in there. All right, and Chris, Sun King FBA says, complete change of topic here. Why would Amazon list a single bottle of liquid drink mix as hazmat product, but allow me to ship in and sell the 3-pack of the same item? They probably have not caught on yet. Tread lightly is my advice. If they have truly deemed the single unit as hazmat, and they have determined it's hazmat forevermore, at some point they'll realize that 3-pack's going in, and when they do, your product will be destroyed. So just tread very, very lightly is all I can tell you on that. I would not send in, you know, a few $1,000s worth of these things. Yeah, Becky Cornwell, yeah, same reason why they sent a blue hairbrush into hazmat but let the red one through. Yeah, there's no good rhyme or reason. Hazmat is such a funny thing, so just be careful. And yeah, as Matt says, worth a call or email to Seller Central. They could potentially remove the hazmat restriction. And yeah, so you know, never just give up and say, oh, it must be hazmat. But what I'm saying is, if they truly look at it like my Mr. Bubbles that I used to talk about, that you know, got deemed hazmat. I mean, that truly was hazmat. There was no two ways about it. And if I were sending a 2-pack after they nailed the single, that would have been tagged eventually also. So just be careful when things are hazmat. Dale Selmeyer said, side note, I know Duane will appreciate this. Go Reds. Yes, sir. See? That's right. Representing the Reds tonight, as a matter of fact. No, I am not watching the game. I'm about to go catch the end of it, I hope, or is it over? I might have already missed it. They've been playing like, you know, 2-hour games lately. Yeah, okay. 5-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Sweet. I will catch the last couple innings. Or couple innings. No joke so far. Red Sox are a joke so far. That's right. We're not even at the All-Star break, so a lot can happen before the end of the season. All right, guys. I think that's it. We're almost to the 9 o'clock hour. That's right. Go Reds. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by, listening. Had fun. I really did appreciate breaking down the numbers. It kind of showed me what I thought was the case, but it was an eye-opener to actually see that stuff on my screen, and, you know, face to face with it. So I do appreciate the nudge to get that done, Mindy, and hopefully you guys got a little bit out of this. You know, my biggest takeaway after I broke it all down: mix of products and a mix of sources, and network with people. You can do what I'm doing, and you can probably do a whole lot more than I'm doing. But anyway, it's been fun, you know, and that's the main thing. I'm enjoying this road to 500K. Don't know if we'll get there or not, but crap, I'm having a great time along the way, and that is the key to it all, guys. Have fun with what you're doing. So thanks again. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week. Maybe I'll actually have a topic for us besides just the road to 500K. See what I can learn along the way between now and then, and share some good stuff with you. Until then, have a good night. Have a profitable week, and we'll see you next time. Night, guys.